So, should we start with plants? We should start with plants.
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 Yeah.
Got some
Okay, so
plants.
first
Hog
up on
plant.
the list is Peashooter.
Bad. Just kidding.
Okay.
Um.
Okay, well, the character was kind of designed. This game is marketed towards younger audiences, so they
Kids.
wanted a character that was really easy to play. And
They got one.
definitely got one. Yeah.
And he's unfortunately a little too good at it. Like, his overall ability is just like, I don't understand, like... Okay. Like, some of them make sense, but like, the execution of them were just like, so bad.
Hyper was kind of designed as just your classic mobility ability, but it really turned out to just be something that you could easily spam people bunny hop, and that's like a widely known thing to do, and people still do it, even though it's hated by the community.
I mean, they got it correct. I feel like they really got like really easy, like simple to pick up abilities down. Like, I guess I could see what they're doing with Foot Soldier. I think what they did with Foot Soldier is personally, in my opinion, just better, like all around, because it's not as brain dead. Like, he's just way too easy to pick up. He's way too easy. He causes like issues, like just noobs just using all their abilities to get one kill, and it's like really obnoxious.
Like, they definitely got what they were going for, but they got it a little bit too much, to the point of the character was just brain dead, easy to play. He's too good at everything he does.
Yeah.
Like,
especially P Gatling, dude. Another thing I never understood when they transferred P Gatling into this game, that I think this is just one of the most unnecessary things they did, was make it so it does 10 damage. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea.
And made it damage reduction harder. It does damage reduction to guy buffed.
Yeah, that too. Like, they made it, like, in Garden Warfare 1, it did 8 damage, and it was perfectly balanced. It didn't kill people so fast that they couldn't react. This is why I would literally just put this thing in, like, straight up S tier. Like, I don't know, like, I want to just demonstrate how broken this thing is. I just point and click at people, and they just, like, drop their health just drops to 0 so quickly. When, like, the rest of this game has, like, an overall, like, much slower TTK. Like, this thing has, like, 120, 130 DPS. No other thing in the game, like, except Husk Hop, but it's fucking Husk Hop, I mean, what do you expect? Has anything, like, anywhere close to, that DPS. I just think it's just ridiculous that they did that.
yeah. Peashooter, basically, and, like, sum it all up, he's just a character that they designed to be easy, but they accidentally made him too easy and just too good at everything. He's just your average all-around character, but, like, all-around characters aren't supposed to be... They're supposed to be average at everything, but Peashooter is, like, amazing at everything.
Well, let's not get started on bean jumping.
Alright, next one, Chomper. Oh boy, Chomper.
He's the fucking worst designed character I've ever seen.
Like, what did they intend him to be? Like, they intended him to be a stealth character. Like, someone that could flank you and could lock you in place with Goop and just get a kill on you without you knowing. But, like, he doesn't have any really form of stealth because Burrow is too easy to see, and Burrow is really only way of actually kind of sneaking up on you. Except it's loud and it's really big, so you could see it really easily. So they kind of... A stealth character that isn't stealthy, Chomper's the result. Just a character that just kamikazes into the team and dies. And then rinse and repeat. Like, Goop... Goop... It doesn't make any sense why Goop and Spikeweed both do not fit on a sneaky assassin character, especially Spikeweed. Like, what If you were a ninja, why would you need a trap to put on the ground that kills people? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't help. Like,
And you don't set up traps in their own fucking spawn. That's just not... It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
like Goop, I could kind of see to a certain extent because, like, you sneak up behind people, but there's no way of actually getting close to them without Goop, so that's why you kind of need Goop. But Burrow, honestly, Burrow should have been like a movement ability, not
It really should have. Eating
not like
people
a
is just like...
insta-kill ability. And a big thing, a big controversial thing about Chomper is that whether or not he should have his insta-kill.
I don't think he deserves any of them, to be honest. I just don't believe it.
Like, maybe they would probably have to buff his chomp damage to kind of make up for the fact that if he fights two enemies, like, he wins 1v1s easily, but as soon as there's two people, he just dies. He just dies. There's nothing else to it.
It's another thing, like, the overall design of this game just doesn't make sense. Like, you have 12 players on each team, but then you have a character who's good for 1v1s. And then another thing, he gets completely countered by, like, a whole class. Like, what kind of design is that?
In objective-based games, even in this game, teamwork isn't really encouraged. People do tend to stick in groups, so Chomper is just so bad. Because people usually round up on the objective. Like, defense is the only, like, mode, I guess you could say. Defense on turf or Spike Weed is good, because you can put them on the point, and you could actually, like, go up to the enemies and halt their, like, movement towards the objective, because you have Goop, which slows people down, and Spikeweed, which locks them in place and allows you to insta-kill them. Which, again, is just bad design, because he should not have an insta-kill.
I mean, again, I just don't understand. Like, TF2 Spy, I mean, just like, like, whenever he gets an insta-kill, like, imagine he has, like, a fucking PTSD attack whenever he killed someone. That's basically Chomper. That is, like, what kind of design is that? You can't have that on a character like this. That just doesn't work.
You cannot, man.
I don't know what they were going with. Like, did they, like, I feel like this is just a common thing with PopCap. Like, they have an idea or a goal with a certain character. And it's either that they go too overboard with it, or they think it's too OP, so they just, like, they try to find a workaround to make, because they think the character would be too OP, when in reality, the character just has abhorrent, like, design by default. Like, even if he didn't have to chew people whenever he insta-killed them, it still would, he's still horrible, because he still has abilities that do not align with his intended character class, and he still gets countered by a freaking class that counters those abilities anyways. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Like, in most games, silver bullets are not generally good. And the thing is, that character that, like, is the silver bullet really isn't very good in most situations. It's just only good against this one class or gun, let's say. And, for example, NG is the silver bullet, and Chomper just gets absolutely destroyed for no reason. Like, why? Just make them balanced. Don't make one character good against one thing, and then another character just useless because that one character exists.
Yeah, like imagine if if there was like a counter to Sunflower, right? That just stopped her from healing because, oh no, her heals do too much. Like, then they would just make healers useless, and that would therefore make the rest of the team useless because they can't get heals. It just doesn't make sense. I don't understand what they were going for with this character. It's just a massive flip-flop of ideas that they had no idea. And this went on for 2 games. I don't know how they never thought that maybe this doesn't seem so good of an idea. Like, where did they come from with this stuff? Like, they clearly didn't look at TF2. Clearly didn't, like, look at any game that actually has stealth characters.
Yeah. Basically, overall, Chomper is just it's just sad. It's just really sad.
Because they get most kills with them.
Alright, let's do Soldier.
Play Scuba.
Soldier. The character that is like the Peashooter counterpart in a way, because he's just too good at everything, man. He has, like, for the most part, other than ZPG, his abilities are balanced. He has a good movement ability that you can't really abuse to any extent like you can with Piper. And then you have Stink Cloud, which, I mean, it's not a very good ability, but you can use it. You can use it to deny heals, which is a big thing in this game, since there's not much heals in this game. So, cutting off that little bit of heals is really... It could be pretty important. Or regen, not heals, my bad. And then... ZPG, it's... I don't know, man. It's too good for its own good, but the thing is, it's this big projectile that you could easily see coming at you, and it has a lot of hit reg problems, too. So on your screen, you could just get 300 damage, but on their screen, you could completely miss.
Yeah. Like, on your screen, it looks like it just went right through them, like, especially with Corns. I hate this, because Corns just have such an annoying hitbox. And then, like, it says, oh, 200, but they're still, like, alive and standing, and then next thing you know, you're getting husk-hopped by them. It's like, what are you, what? Honestly, I think that Soldier has a really good design until we start talking about how much he's of a generalist. Like, I think that's when I'm like, yeah, no. Because he just does too good from every range.
If he was more of a, like I guess you could say long-range character, but you don't want to make him a sniper, because if you make him a close-range character, then he's just better than any other, like, close-range character like SB. But if you make him a long-range character, then Deadbeard is useless, because Soldier is just a better version. But right in the middle is where Soldier is. That's the problem.
That's the thing, though. You have to make him a jack-of-all-trades character and make him not really excel in anything. Because then it's either that you make him better than an actual up-close character like Imp, or make him better than a sniper like Deadbeard. That's the issue. And they didn't take that. Instead, you have a character that is just better than all of them most of the time. And that's an issue. And also, he's way too easy at doing it. I mean, I get it, like, he's supposed to be picked up easily, but if they were gonna do that, then you have to, it's either you pick one or the other. He's supposed to be better than every other character in each category, but harder to play, or you just make him the easy to pick up character, and then, I guess, he's harder to he's kind of hard to master, compared to other characters, but he's just far from it, Oh. Oh yay, fire damage, my favorite.
Yeah, NG's next. Alright, NG, man. He's... Wait, no, we should play. Wait, let's start it in a sec. Hold on. I'm switching to NG, actually.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, because Druid Rose, and I'll jump off the map. Oh no, Arcane Enigma. Alright, I'm jumping off the map. See you later, Rose. What is even this character?
Like, what is his... What was the point of him? Like, for Cacti is a sniper, Sunflower is a healer, Scientist is like a... healer, I guess.
And damage dealer.
All-Star is a tank. Soldier is like a... Okay, Soldier's just a generalist. What's the point of this character? What was the...
This is what I feel like what happened. I feel like this is what happened when they first made him. I think what they did was that they were like, Hey guys, I think we should have a counter to Chomper because, like earlier, Chomper's too powerful. He can insta-kill enemies. So let's make a character that counters that. Oh, what about his other two abilities? Go wild. That was literally what they did. I don't understand. Like what is a jackhammer like? Oh wow, he goes faster. I mean, I guess I try to correlate it with the fact that he can go faster towards Telly, but like. Other than that, like, what else?
I guess that fact kind of makes sense, that you usually use it to get to Telly's fast.
But in this game, they gave him a turret. Why?
The turret makes no sense.
Like, what was the purpose? Again, I don't understand. Why did they give him that? Like, what? Do you defend the Telly with your bots with the turret? Like, what? Do you defend the point with it? It's just so weird. It doesn't fit. Oh, shoot.
It's... like, I think sentry turrets that you could place down would be a better, like... a better fit for the character.
I mean, they already did that. It's just called Telly. It's just, that's it. They decided...
Yeah, but I'm talking about as an ability, because you don't use it just on the Telly, you could use it to actually defend the point on defense.
There goes that guy. Yeah, I mean, the funny part is, I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be in Garden Warfare 1. In the launch trailer for zombie classes, they showcased the turret, which then I think got scrapped. Honestly, I don't know why they scrapped that. That actually made sense for the most part. I mean, other than his variants, which I still don't understand. I mean, I think this game is less focused on actually like being a team-based shooter and being more of like a just, you know, overall being a class-based shooter, which I think it does fit its role better at that. But
yeah, the characters don't work together and work on the objectives. It's more of every class is very
do your own thing.
Distinct and unique in their own way. Some of them being horrible, some of them being, like, amazing and overpowered. Peashooter. But, like, NG just... at least the characters kind of have a role to a certain extent, but, again, NG just doesn't... he's just
Besides
a character.
Besides Telly, he just doesn't have a role.
Yeah, he's just a character. Like, cool NG, but... it's like they just forgot about that part.
Like, you go from, like, oh, the heal, like, the easy-to-pick-up Peashooter, the healer, the sniping Cactus. Oh, I got the anti-Chomper and Telly builder. What is it? What is he? Like, what? I'm doing the sunflower, I guess? Yeah.
Yep, sunflower, oh boy.
Why, in the second time in a row, did they give this character Sunbeam? What was the point in giving a healer... again...
Sunbeam is so dumb.
Oh, guys, I think Sunflower should be able to defend herself.
It's like the equivalent of NG's Bolt Blaster. It just doesn't fit with the character, but it's still too good. That's why you still see people using it, even though it makes no sense. Because it's way too strong.
It is way... I mean, it's less of that strong, but it just doesn't fit the character. I mean, P. Gatling will always forever be the superior version.
Yeah, it doesn't fit the character, but it still is too strong.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Solar Flare Beam. Why does it exist? Why did they just, like, that? If that wasn't obvious enough, they just decided to make an ability that just practically is almost just a P. Gatling, but for 50 ammo. And has no recoil and is pinpoint accurate. It is beyond me why they made it like that. I don't understand why they made Solar Flare Beam just pinpoint accurate. It doesn't make sense. It's too easy to use.
Alright, let's stop ranting about that and get onto our other abilities. Heal Beam is just a solid, well-balanced ability, though. It doesn't have too much healing, but it's like enough to keep a teammate alive.
Oh, alive for a little too long in my opinion.
Yeah, also, let's talk about just her solo ability. Like, the ability to just go attack full-on attack flower. Like, it is... She's too good at it. Her primary does way too much damage. Like, I'm not sure how they thought, oh yeah, let's give a character...
Oh, let's give her 50 ammo. Like, I don't understand that. Her variants, dude. I thought Reg Flower was freaking powerful. Literally, her variants just... What? What? I'm so confused. What were they thinking? She literally has, like, around the same DPS as, like, some of the foot soldiers.
Really, the only variant that makes sense is Metal Petal. All other variants are, like, either too overpowered or just useless, and they have no practical use.
Or they're just, like, they try to fit in. Like, maybe Vamp Flower.
Like Stuffy. Like Stuffy.
Yeah, Stuffy. Maybe Vamp Flower because she gets to heal herself, but she gets lower at healing. But again, that doesn't really solidify her healing role. Instead of solidifies more of the self-healing part, which honestly, Heal Flower will be always better at that. And also, what in the world is this team?
Yeah, it's just all scientists. And Heal Flower, also, the thing with it is that it just... The fact that you could place it down and it stays, it stands still and it doesn't, like, doesn't move. So you could constantly use it to heal yourself.
And also, I don't understand why you can heal it. I don't think you should be able to heal it. I think it should be its separate thing. And once it gets hit for damage, I don't even think other sunflowers should be able to heal it, period. It's supposed to heal, the whole purpose of it is that it's supposed to heal. Like, you're not supposed to really... The sunflower shouldn't be able to really heal itself. I mean, I just don't think that the whole concept of sunflowers being able to heal themselves is kind of a dumb one, because... I mean, you already have an issue of these characters living way longer than they should be whenever they heal each other. But then when they're healing... Or, like, healing allies... that, you know, normally would have died way, way, way quicker in some situations. But with this character, like, whenever she heals herself, there's nothing you can really do. There is no, like, go after the healer if you have that strat, or anything like that. You just have to, have raw power to beat her, which doesn't always work. You probably, like, need to, like, have insta-kill abilities there, which... Of course, not every character has that. Like, some characters just absolutely destroy Sunflower groups. Like, a really good example is All-Star. I mean, he used to be able to one-shot a Vamp Flower back when she had, like, 75 HP. It was just regular sprint tackle. They just absolutely demolish her, but now... But then there's, like, other characters, like, what is it? You give other characters, like maybe Deadbeard might struggle a little bit, because they can just always hop into cover. Yeah, I just don't like the concept of it, and even some of the foot soldiers struggle.
Yeah, the healers all, like, in the Garden Warfare series, healers just tend to have too much DPS ability.
Oh no, can't wait to talk about...
They're not healers, they're... just characters with self-heal that could also slightly heal their teammates.
You know, while we're getting absolutely mauled by the scientists, can we just talk about them now? Like, dude, this character has somehow even worse design than this character.
Yeah, like, healers usually are meant to be in the back line. Oh, Jesus Christ, look at that. Oh my god. The healers are are supposed to be, like, in the backline healing their teammates, but Scientist being a close-range melee shotgun character, it's just flip-flopped. It makes no sense. His sticky grenades don't make sense for a healer either. They're just a weird ability, honestly. The heal bomb, that's what it's called or something. Something like that. Like, it moves, so basically you could throw it in the direction that you're walking, then as soon as you get into combat and take some damage, the Mega Heal Bomb would just explode and heal you back to full, giving you an effect of 150 HP, And for a character that could self-heal, and that is like a melee character, that's just too much. It's just too much. And then on top of that, having like 2 warps on a decently low cooldown, so you could use one to get in, and then use one to engage, and use the other to disengage, and just survive. It's too much. It's not. It's dumb. It's bad.
The character just does not really feel like
Like this
a
is
healer
what
anymore.
like scientist is what Chomper should have been. Like Unicorn and Twilight are like good stealth characters.
That's why they're the best
Chomper.
chompers, because they actually are the closest things that actually fit their character role as
Yeah.
And while they're not too stealthy, they get in quick, and even other times they get out quick too. How about All-Star?
Oh boy, the ability spammer character that we all know and love.
I mean, to be fair, they finally got him right in BFN. For the most part.
They did. He honestly, like, he's a pretty good tank for BFN.
Yeah. This game, what? Like, okay. When you talk about Reg All-Star, they nerfed his Garden Warfare 1 damage, which, still to this day, I never understood why. He's a minigun character, first off. He's not supposed to have much mobility, but sprint tackle, like, yes, I do like the idea of him plowing through things, but I kind of liked it in BFN when he just stops, which was much better. But, like, they just completely, they don't have that here. They don't have it. Again, it's in BFN, but I still believe that I think it's just really dumb that it took them like what 3 games to finally decide, hey, this is a minigun character. He probably shouldn't be the let's go in there with him and let's be more of the let the enemies come to me character. Like I feel like it's just a huge problem with PopCap. They take way too long to realize what some characters are, and even then, they still don't even realize. They make new characters that don't even fit like their own, you know, don't even fit their own game or like their own role. Even like later on, like you think after so long, after they made some awful character like Chomper that's been so poorly designed, they would finally make a stealth character correctly. Then Nightcap came along and it was just like, no, They clearly didn't learn a single damn thing. Especially fucking Karate Goop, dude. Oh man.
Alright, next up we have Imp.
Yeah, oh my god. Where do we go with this character?
Let's just start it off with close range character with 75 HP.
Close range bunny hopper with the weirdest abilities ever. Let's just okay. So you have a character like Imp that honestly really needs serious change. He they didn't give him any of that in BFN, and they didn't give any of it in this game. Like, why do you have Gravity Grenade? You're a bunny hopper. Okay. And then you have Imp-Kata, which doesn't help his bunny hopping role at all. It makes him more vulnerable, and it has an aimbot. Like, huh? It spins all, you shoot all over the place, but it aimbots to the closest enemy? Like, I don't understand. What were they thinking? It doesn't, he's not a close range, like, maybe, yes, it's more effective up close, but that is the furthest you can say that it fits this up close character. Or in that he's not, it makes him more vulnerable. Even with the frickin' damage reduction, he still is more vulnerable. And it just, and literally every imp in the game has a DPS higher than it. So so maybe it's best as a finisher? But why would you need a finisher on a bunny hopper? Just again, it doesn't make any sense. The whole design of this character just makes me just sit there and wonder, what were they thinking? I think he's one of the worst designed characters in general in this game. Like, he just doesn't fit anything. He'll be number 1. Again, I don't know why there's so many stuns, dude. Why does this character have a stun? Why does a stealth character and a freaking bunny hopping character have a stun? Like, what was the intention with that?
Yeah, should we talk about mech also? Like, mech, man.
I mean,
It kind of fits, honestly. It's fine having like a close range character having like another mode that could basically turn all his downsides to like a really good thing. Like his basically his not his flexibility. I forgot the word for it.
Missile
Him being
next
his
stop.
no, the thing is him being such like a freaking toothpick, him just dying instantly to everything. And then you add mech, basically giving him more health than any other thing in the game, like playable thing in the game. It's good, but it's too good.
Well, okay, it's too good until the team actually like drops everything and kills it, kind of like a sort of a Torchwood.
New lobby.
Yeah, new lobby. Like, it's good until you realize, hey, this character has a lot of just has issues with you know, getting bundled, which I guess that's, and it also doesn't help that it gets completely countered by a certain stun. Once again, why do characters constantly get countered by stuns in this game that are like directly associated with them? I don't understand why they made EMP just like it lasts longer than the other stuns. Like, you already have this big thing that gets bundled by the team. Why do you need a
EMP was
single
already
character?
good enough. There's no point of making it like a silver. It's not even a silver bullet. I just call it a gold bullet because it's just good against everything. Then it's just insane and overpowered against one specific thing.
Honestly, even though I would have to say that I think Goop might be better because it has a 6-second cooldown compared to
Goop
the
is
EMP.
better. Goop is better. There's a 6-second cooldown. It's just too good. Like you could, most abilities in this game, you really only use them once against an enemy. Maybe you use them once every other enemy or every other enemy because of cooldowns. But Goop having a 6-second cooldown makes it so it's basically a free 1v1 winner. And then if the first one doesn't work, the fact that you could just wait for the cooldown long enough to use a second one.
In the same fight.
In the same 1v1, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the TTK is so low, it's...
And then, especially against Z-Mech, it's just so bad, dude. Like, if the Chomper is sticking with the team, and the Z-Mech has to fight a team with people who sit next to each other constantly, there's no way the Z-Mech is going to get a lot of kills, or he's going to be able to survive for very long. He has to, like, get a few kills, maybe eject, hope that he survives with bunny hopping, but that's it. That's all he got. And it's sad. This character has, like, Z-Mech is, like, on the surface, has decent potential to fit with Imp, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really do justice like it should, nor does the rest of his abilities. None of them.
Yeah. Alright, next we have the SB, or Super Brainz.
Oh my fucking gosh. Dude. This character's so bad. This character... Okay. There's always two ways when it comes to this character. It's either one, your team focuses on the SB, and you either die all the time or get low all the time. Or two, your team doesn't pay attention to you, therefore you mop everybody on their team like it's nothing. And there's no in between. And that's what I don't like. is that there's no like consistency with this character, kind of like Chomper. There's no consistency. There's certain characters in this game, if they get focused hard enough by a team, it will just get absolutely mauled. And this is one of them. Heavyweight characters in this game just get absolutely mauled.
Again, like, SB is designed as a 1v1 character, like a close-range 1v1 character. So if the game was actually like that, he would be a great character. That's why he's horrible in Turf in most modes, but good in Team Vanquish, because that's a really solo-y mode.
Maps are much smaller, however, you know, however, there's like more room for him to kind of excel, since I don't think there's as much players playing on the maps. So it
Usually
allows,
not.
yeah, so usually it's a much better environment for him. That's why if you want to master an SB, don't pick Turf. Don't even. And that's why even like some people consider like TB, for example, really good. They would think they were really good characters, which in some cases, yeah, he actually has room if in the right conditions works, but again, I think it has to, like, a lot of it is like luck based, because he gets again hard countered by chompers, gets hard countered by big focusing teams,
Hard countered by Roses, hard countered
anything
by
with a stun.
Citron.
Let's just say that anything with
Yeah.
a stun, this character just gets
Like,
shut
especially
down.
with him, because with his overload, he's such a big target because people perceive him as being OP, so they want to kill him. But that being said, when people focus him, they throw everything at him when he's in overload. So he just doesn't do anything because he just dies. And then his DPS is so low when he's not in overload. You rely on overload just to die in it instantly.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. And then, dude, the health regeneration for this guy, we didn't really tap onto it with All-Star, but like, I think he has this problem too, but not as bad because, you know, again, the enemies come towards him most of the time. This character has it way worse because now he has to force himself to go at the enemies, which doesn't sound bad on paper, but when you realize that it takes like 2 minutes to get back to full health, like, it's too much. You can't, it's not reliable at all. And you can't, and this character, that's why there's no consistency with this character. And what are you gonna do? Rely on healers the whole time? Like, no. Oh yeah, and Turbo
He just
Twister.
dies to everything. Alright, Pirate, nah.
Wait, let's talk about Turbo Twister real quick. I want to tap into that real
Oh,
quick.
yeah.
Wait, actually, let's talk about, like, his abilities. We didn't really tap into that much.
Oh, yeah, we didn't. Heroic Kick. It used to be a... It actually used to be something... It did 25 damage. It used to have only
36.
one. Wait, okay. Big difference. It used to have a lower cooldown because there was only one of it, but it used to do 26 damage, and yeah, it was pretty bad
No, I
because
said 36, not
it was
26.
it was like Scientist Warp. Like, you use one to get in, but since you only had one, there was no way to get out. You just died. But they changed it so it went from 20 whatever damage to 5 damage. Swear to God, if it's 6.
36.
It has to be 5.
Wait, what? Wait, Heroic Kick? It
I'm
used to
talking
be-
about current Heroic Kick.
Oh, it's 12. It's 12.
It's 12? Oh my God. I thought it was 5. So it's 12 now, so it's... Before, you could use it to combo someone and kill them, but now it's just pure movement ability. Because you have 2 of them, and they're on a pretty low cooldown, so you could get them quite frequently. And it's a good fit for the character. But the character just sucks, so... The ability's not really shined upon, because the character isn't shined upon.
He doesn't, like, once he gets in there, he can kill people rather quickly, my overall issue is that he loses his health, like, really quickly. A little too quickly. And not only that, he just, like, you're kind of forced to play stealth at that point, so you don't... And the goal is, like, not only kill as many enemies as possible before you die, but also lose the least amount of health as possible before you die. If that makes sense. Because it's like... If you don't play them, if you don't kill the enemies in a certain way properly, you will just end up getting mauled. If you just jump into a group of enemies while they're all looking at you, you will die in less than 5 seconds.
Less. You'll die in like 2 seconds.
Yeah. There's just no way of surviving. Like, you have to do flanking maneuvers like that, for example, then you have to get out of there. But that doesn't always work. And also, this character's regen is so painful. I can't. And, Turbo Twister. Listen, I don't understand why they thought it was a great idea to wait until the next fucking game to change this. Back to, like, oh, let's use it to kill enemies instead of running away, even though the whole point of having 2 kicks was to be able to have one that goes in and one that goes out, like scientists. Like, what? I don't understand. I feel like they were just so lazy when they changed that back to just making it do 2 damage, because they just made it useless. And it confused a lot of people because they were so used to using it like how it should be, and they didn't even bother to change like the descriptions for it. Like, oh, it does a lot of damage and it kills enemies. They didn't even bother the quests to change the quests that are like, oh, get kills with Turbo Twister. Like, they expected you to actually kill things with 2 damage.
Yeah.
What? And then... I'll touch on Beam in a second, because that's another huge one that we haven't discussed about. The Ultra Ball. I mean, do you really think it fits this character? Because... if I'm being honest,
I'm gonna be completely honest, it kind of does. I could see where they were coming from with it. I'm trying to give these characters the benefit of the doubt, but some characters I just can't. Like, Burrow on Chomper, Sunbeam, Imkata, I can't. But some other abilities I can understand it. I'm trying to think of this stuff from PopCap's point of view, like what they were trying to think of it as, and like how that could actually maybe help the character.
Oh yeah.
Instead of what it should be, but like sub or Super Ultra Ball, sub for short. It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, it only does like 120. It doesn't even like one shot. I don't know why they did that, by the way. Why does it do 120 instead of 125 so it can kill Peashooters? Why can't it kill Citrons? I mean, like, I think a really good use, the best use of Ultra Ball is using it when people aren't paying attention, because they don't have the time to jump out of the way since it's so slow. Kind of like how you would do with like P-Gat, like against like a, not P-Gatling, but like as like someone using ZPG, I guess. Because the projectile's like really slow. But like, I get it. Maybe they didn't really want it to be the same one-shot broken ability, especially when you got this character being able to fly across the map. But why? Like, what was... Like, I can just beam the enemy right afterwards anyways. And it starts to become like, why does this ability even exist in the first place? Like, it's a melee character. You could have given this guy another, I don't know, another movement option, maybe a more powerful, maybe single shot projectile that would, like, just out of his range, maybe? Like, kind of like they could have done something like that instead of, again, the beam, which I'm gonna get into now. I feel like they were way too lazy with it. They did not when they rebalanced this character back in 2018, they clearly had no idea what they were doing. Is it just like I usually, when I think of like a character that outranges Super Brainz when he has his melee, I don't really think of like Beam being a good answer. It's just it's too situational. You're a lot of the time using punches anyways. I don't get it. I don't get it. And also, it doesn't really kill enemies that are out of range too. It just like
Again, they
finish-ish.
didn't care to change the description. It still says it's good for long range, like it used to be.
Another thing that it took, and by the way, it took them 2
Like,
years.
I'm
to
pretty
figure
sure
that out.
the exact words were something along the lines of, this character is a threat at close range and long range. The long range being because of the beam, but when they rebalanced it, they just were so they were lazy with it. What else could I say? It's a close range ability now, but like then just use your punches because punches are better in every way. All right, next is Cactus.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this character. I think a lot of people forget about this character, unfortunately. No, I'm gonna play Camo. I'm gonna play Camo for the people.
Personally, my favorite character class, main, but like, this character, I'm gonna try to give an unbiased opinion. Probably one of the better balanced characters in the game.
I would have to agree. I do think this character kind of fits with the notion of being a sniper. She actually does fit, but then and she also can set up traps for enemies that try to flank her. And then set up, I guess, Johnny's, I guess? Like
Those are used for barriers, like shields that you could kind of dance around. Like, I use them a lot, and I use Johnny in 1v1 interactions a lot and just dance around it. That's how I deal with a lot of them. I just dance around it, shooting them, and they don't know what to do.
Yeah. My issue with it, though, is that it's kind of it would be more... I kind of like the fact that they replaced it, because why would you need a barricade as a sniper when you can kind of just get like kind of run away from it, right, from the enemy or something?
Yeah,
like
but
that.
I'm just saying that I like using it like that, but it was meant as a shield that you could use. Like, you don't want to be a sniper that's just sitting in the open. You want to have cover, and sometimes you can't use natural cover, so they kind of made it as like an environment creator in a way. They use it to like change the environment for your advantage, basically.
Yeah, honestly, I think, okay, now that I look into it more, I kind of like the idea of it, because it's like, when you fight Cactus up close now, you kind of have to play it by her own game, but she's not amazing up close at the same time. So it's like the Cactus has to figure out like a way to like handcraft in mid-battle how to beat the enemy in a situation where they're not supposed to be good at, and you know, the enemy has to figure out a way around it. And it can kind of set up for some really tricky interactions, and especially with this character, I feel. And also, but at the end of the day, it could still be used as a block, which honestly I kind of like. But here's the part where I start to despise this character. Garlic Drone. Oh man, it's been a long time coming. I hate this ability.
Like, I know you hate it a lot, but I have mixed feelings about it. I could see why you hate it, but like, sometimes you just can't snipe, so you have to take a different approach.
That's the thing, though. You don't really have to go in. If the game actually worked as in by design, then like enemies that, you know, for example, Cactus can't get to, they should be accessed by Chomper flanking and get those people that aren't looking. But of course, that's not how it works at all. I mean, Chomper goes off doing his own thing, probably gets 1 kill, dies, and then remains to have a KD ratio of exactly 1 for the whole game.
And sometimes snipers usually are known for like having good streaks because they don't die very often. But sometimes if you're low and you're being watched or you can't peek, you just have to use your drone. Like, would you rather sit there or actually do something? So you use your drone.
Well, since it's like a class-based shooter and there's a lot of enemies most of the time, I don't really see a reason for that, considering that you can just like, you know, there's going to be always other enemies that you can fight against, you know?
Yeah, but snipers are stationary targets, and sometimes you just can't. A lot of the time, you actually, even though there are 12 people in the game, well, most of the time it's not exactly 12v12. It's sometimes 11v11, and uneven teams like 10v11, 12v11. You know.
Mm.
But sometimes there's nobody you could find, so you just have to use your drone. It does make sense, like, Cactus shouldn't have his drone, because you use drones for stuff that other characters should be doing, such as, like, backline, like Chomper, right? And maybe Citron. But this game isn't like that. Like, they failed, really, with that. They really failed with that. So, in the case, like, in expectation, it's bad, but in reality, it's good, because sometimes other characters can't do specific things, so you have to do it yourself.
Well,
It's not Cacti's fault for other
Well,
characters
in that
being
case,
bad at
I feel like
something.
I think something that would fix that would be if drone was more scoutish rather than killish. You know?
Yeah,
I think that's what
think
the whole
that would
point it should
good.
be.
That's what I was thinking. Like, in BFN, they gave drone instead of attack upgrades. They gave it a lot of like scouting upgrades. And they just gave Cactus in general a bunch of scouting upgrades. Like one, I think it's called Spud Spotting, where
You know, enemies that are nearby, your potato mines are.
yeah,
You know,
you could see them.
your whole
and
team would be
then-
able to see them. And that's kind of good by design. I'm kind of thankful they kind of start to go for more of a supportish yet still, you know, doing their own thing kind of vibe as the defense role. Again, it doesn't always work, but I do think it's a step in the right. I think it was a step in the right direction with this character. But I still would prefer if like maybe instead of having a drone, like it could be either be the one that could be used to be replaced by again like something like pedal propeller, because there's a lot of spots that would just make Cactus a way better character if she was able to get to them, but she can't, and she has to use Johnny's, which sometimes takes excruciatingly long and is just unreliable during a match. Can't, and it's just not feasible.
Yeah, and for those situations, you just use drone. Like,
Yeah, but yeah, and again,
I guess Cactus is. I guess I could see your point, because Cactus is meant as a defensive character, and sometimes when the enemies are taking cover as a defense character, you're not. You're just supposed to sit and wait for them to come to you. You're not supposed to go to them. And drone is a more I come to you kind of ability.
yeah, drone really shouldn't have been ever used aggressively, in my opinion. I just think it's such a dumb
Oh,
idea.
I mean, yeah, but back to my point when it comes to that, like, not all characters are actually, like, used effectively how they're meant to be. Like, Chomper is... I don't even know what Chomper is anymore. Like, he's meant to be a flanker, but he's not. He's a... He's more of a hold your ground kind of character, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
In that case, he could be a defensive character, but like drone, overall, in my complete opinion, it's a good ability, but you don't have to. It's an opinion, so
Yeah.
my opinion's not right because it's an opinion.
Yeah, we have different ways of thinking of it. Yeah, it's. I still think it should be redesigned. I don't think in its current state it's in the. I think it works, but not in the. I don't really feel like it works well with the role of the character personally. I think that's just my overall problem with it. Also, just it's way too annoying to hit. Again, I don't like it being too annoying to hit.
Yeah, the hitbox should be bigger. That's definitely one thing. All right, next we have Citron.
Oh, we got the whoa no.
Whoa, no. So, Citron, in his first state, he was like his primary really evolved in the same way that SB's beam evolved. In the case that it used to be pretty good at all ranges, and with specific characters like Electro Citron, it was too good at long range because you could almost one-shot like imps from across the map, which really wasn't fair for a Citron. Him having like basically just all S tier abilities, almost like Citron. His abilities are really slept on. Like Peach is just a stun, the best stun in the game. Then Citron Ball, which, like, people don't even perceive it as an ability just because how much you use it. People think of it as, like, a form or, like, a...
Oh, jeez, how'd he hit me?
As, like, a... just a part of Citron, but people don't realize that it's actually, like, an ability. And... so if you're saying Citron Ball is good, you're also saying that just his ability is good. People don't understand that. And then Shield, I mean, it doesn't really block the damage, really. It more of just... sometimes a lot... you just don't block at all, like, any damage whatsoever with it, because people just go around it. But... for the most part, it could be... like, Mood Shield adding another, what, 150 health to your already large health pool, like, it's really good.
I like this concept with the Citron as well. And I like that they made him more up close, but at the end of the day... and I like... his abilities are overall really good, too. And the whole, like... okay, like, overall Citron... like, the whole core concept of him, like, being a run-and-gun character... it kind of fits, because he has like a mobile phase that allows him to get close to enemies. He has multiple abilities to do it, so you guys can say he's more mobile than SB in my opinion.
Definitely.
Definitely. And then, you know, he's now more focused up close ever since his rework. My only issue, again, with as all heavy characters are, is that they suffer from the terrible, terrible regen in this game. And I just hate being stuck at being less than half health for basically every encounter after my first one.
Yeah,
I
that
just
is
hate
true. The regen is a pretty decent, it's a pretty large problem in this game.
The only character that I don't really feel as much on is probably Iron Citron, but I mean, he just controls the matchup regardless. I mean, that's what he just does best. He just absolutely destroys you if you're not careful, but you know, that can actually kind of backfire sometimes, because then some Arctic Trooper comes out of nowhere and just kills him instantly. Yeah, Citron overall, like the rest of the class is just like, I have a little bit of an issue with. But he's not horrible.
Okay, next we have Deadbeard.
I mean... oh my. I think I like him a little bit less than like Cactus, unfortunately. Because like yes,
His
he can
abilities
defend.
just aren't it.
His abilities just don't fit. Like, oh yeah, you can run away with Barrel, but that wasn't really the point of it. Mostly. And then Cannon Rodeo is probably like the worst ability in the game. Like, at least with Imp Kata, like, yes, it does less DPS than like every Imp's primary, but at least it aimbots, so you can kind of use it as like a finisher. There's another way of using it that made it, you know, somewhat viable. Cannon Rodeo doesn't have any of that, except for a measly argument of, oh, you can crowd control with it. But why would you need a crowd control with a freaking sniper? It just doesn't, it doesn't make sense. Why do you need splash with this guy? Why do you need to do 50 damage? Why is he stationary at the point where he's vulnerable to shuck shots and everything?
Yeah, just the fact that he's stationary in it just...
doesn't fit his character role at all. It doesn't. No matter which way you put it, it just doesn't. He's no longer a sniper. And then, again, drone. I mean, I'll just put the same arguments I did for, like, put for plants on zombies, except... I mean, is there really a flank character on, zombies, I guess? Other than maybe Super Brainz? He's like a melee... Like, personally, when I look at, like, how... Like, a cool dynamic of how, you know... like, Cactus would work is that he would be support, and when using drone, and could just kind of spot enemies for, I don't know, some chompers in the... that can go after, that are, like, vulnerable or something, or they're low.
Honestly, I think it's just the same as drone.
It's on zombies.
Same as, it's literally just the exact same thing, basically. But,
Yeah.
zombies, yeah.
There's not really much else to talk about other than how, I think, I want to actually get into this point. Some people talk about just how, I see this sometimes on the subreddit, he shouldn't have a shotgun, which I don't really agree with. I really don't.
I think the shotgun is good.
Yeah, I don't really see why people complain about it so much, because it's like, yeah, he's not supposed to be good up close. He's a sniper. But, like, again, it's funny how, it's really ironic, because people, like, for a while have grudged and whined about the fact that they can't defend themselves up close as Cactus. But then those same people whine about, like, oh, how Deadbeard's too good up close, and how, oh my gosh, he's too effective up close. Like, bro, he's no scientist. Let me tell you that right now. He is nothing like that character. Except for maybe his shotgun exploit. That is something that probably needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
He doesn't deserve to have that. Because then he actually gets, like, more DPS than some... Oh, wow. I mean, he actually starts to get some, like, higher DPS than actual scientists. Yeah, this character is honestly, for the most part, well designed. I just don't like the trick. Actually, no, I take that back. I take that back. Other than the fact that he has a decent primary and secondary, I don't like the abilities whatsoever. Just none of them fit.
I tried using Cannon Rodeo for once in my life. I did about 100 damage to a corn and then just died instantly.
Yeah, also, it doesn't help that certain characters just absolutely get just wrecking for using it.
Yeah. Alright, so next we have Hovergoat. Hovergoat's a very interesting character. He's like no other, I'll tell you that.
I think he's slept on, in my opinion. He's not
Really
he's never used. He's never used, and I don't understand why. Like, where's the why in it? Like, do people find him, like, do they have to, like, be next to, like, allies all the time? Because honestly, I don't have I as someone who just, like, plays the game solo in this game, I don't have a problem just, like, going off by myself like I would with a normal foot soldier, and then just getting kills. I don't. I feel like the support role is kind of just there for people who probably have a little bit of a harder time. Like, yes, his primary is a little bit weaker than foot soldiers, but that doesn't invalidate him from actually being able to defend himself at all. I don't see
Let's talk about his primary first, and we'll go to his abilities. His primary, really, it's not that bad. It's as long as you don't hold down RT and you, like, kind of press it then let go, press it then let go, like, it could do some pretty good damage. I'm just looking up the DPS of it real quick. Dude, 88, almost 90 DPS. Like, come on, it's not for a primary. It's like almost at the same level as Reg Soldier, for example, which everybody knows we're having. Just really good primary and good at every range. Same as Hovergoat. His primary really isn't that bad at long range.
Well, I like his primary, but I don't really agree with the whole it's amazing at long range compared to foot soldier. He feels less of a generalist compared to foot soldier because he does like 4 damage.
Yeah, but Soldier is a generalist because of his abilities for the most part, and just him being good at all ranges. Goat, he's not a generalist because of his abilities. He has the primary to be a generalist. Like, the buff, the scientist being that buffs teammates. It's a pretty weird ability. It's not badly designed, it's a pretty well-designed ability. It's just weird. Like, a lot of people, they would just pocket their friends with Hover Goat and just make them do so much damage. So I guess in that case, it's actually pretty good because he's based around being a support character that doesn't heal. His Y button is just the same with every other, like, turret, except you could kind of move a little bit. It's pretty good at long range, 7 damage, but like the mid range is where it shines. Like, that thing just melts people.
My only issue with it is that once you get the damage upgrade for him, it becomes obsolete. Like, his DPS with his primary when he has the damage upgrade is like 74, I think. And then his DPS for the beam is 77, so it's not that much of a difference. Unless you prefer the accuracy over movement, especially at longer ranges, which I could see. I don't see much of a point of it, like, more up close. It's not really good for that. Not that using turrets up close has ever done good, you know, has a good track record or anything like that.
Alright, next we have his speed ability. That's a very good ability. It's a very well-designed ability. Like, it has a pretty good range, so you don't have to be right next to people. Like, you could buff a lot of your teammates. Like, for example, at a spawn when you're all walking to point, you could just speed everybody and get them to point really fast. It lasts a decent amount of time. Like, Goat probably has to be maybe the best balanced character. The most balanced character, honestly.
Well designed, he's pretty good. He doesn't really have anything to me that strikes out as OP. Some people might say, oh,
or too weak.
Yeah, that too. But he's not like, yeah, some people might argue, oh, but you could buff like Z-Mech and make them like absolutely broken. I'm just like, yeah, but
well, Z-Mech is basically broken on its own, like.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't get bundled, like, yeah, but it's still really. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of a support character, is to really just make the character, or the existing character, just way better. And honestly, it's kind of like healers in some way, except they just make them survive longer and do things for a longer period of time, and not really have to take as many. They don't really see as many situations as risks, as more as opportunities, I guess you could say. But and this is the same exact thing for I feel for Hover Goat, and he does this really good, and it's not like abhorrently balanced. Well, not abhorrently, but like it's not like a little bit unbalanced with healers, where they just make them. It feels like they make them stay alive for a little too long, and just revive whole entire freaking beasts from the dead. And just, yeah, I honestly like Hover Goat's design overall. There's not really much else to say about it. I just wish I could see more. That's it. Rose probably?
Rose next.
Oh wait, how about Corn?
Rose is first.
Oh yeah. Okay. Where does this character fit? This character, it like just feels like NG, but on plants.
But NG is just weird and bad, but Rose is just like
good.
Cancer. I want
sort of. Well, okay, she's annoying.
She's really not.
She's
annoying. For the most part, just sucks, and she's just annoying. So okay, so she has an invulnerability, which you could use for damage, which its damage sucks, so just use it as invulnerability to escape. So she has a no die ability, and she has 2 get off me stun and like just dead abilities. Like Time Snare just wins 1v1s. Most of the time with Rose you don't want to be on your own too much. So if you're with one other teammate and you like slow someone, like whenever you goat somebody, they just run away all the time.
Just like that, just like that. I just saw that freaking guy. He killed me and he just runs away as soon as he gets goatified. He doesn't die. Yeah, sad.
And then Time Snare has an insane radius. It's just it cancels abilities. That's why Rose is such a good counter to TB specifically, because like you could just Time Snare them and then get the freest goatify of your life because they're on the ground not moving for like 2 seconds. And then they're dead because they're a go. They lost their toxic overload, and yeah.
They lost all their abilities. This is like almost every single character for the most part. Dude, can I stop getting ZPG'd out of nowhere, dude? How? He didn't snipe me with that. Okay, anyways. Yeah, sorry for getting a little off topic there, but yeah. This character... I mean, okay, on the surface she seems really good, but she only excels against people that don't understand how to fight Rose. Like, if you really think about it, her homing is really counterable. There's multiple ways of just, like, taking cover, kind of shooting her before she shoots you, and if it's not neck Rose, then usually you can out-DPS her. Like, her DPS is not amazing. It really isn't. Like the only reason why neck Rose is so terrifying is because she's able to jinx you. But if you, like, take advantage of the fact that, like she sucks up close, and you can heal off her jinx, she's actually not that.
And a lot of zombies have movement or speed abilities. Like, Imp just... okay. Deadbeard is, like, the only one that can't get up to you, so All-Star could tackle up to you, NG could jackhammer to you, Scientist could warp to you, SB could kick to you. Imp, just him being small and pretty sneaky because he's so small and quiet. It's just, that could easily get up to you. Every single character other than Deadbeard just flank you, get up close, and then as soon as you're up close, you lose. Because you can only use Goatify once, and this game is pretty fast-paced, so as soon as you Goatify once, the Goatify cooldown is pretty long. So as soon as you use it once, you're just so vulnerable to anybody. Your primary sucks, so you can't defend yourself, like, without Goatify, again.
Yeah, like, up close, by the way.
Up close, yeah.
Yeah, mid-range, that's where she excels.
Okay, the biggest thing with Rose, homing. When you think of Rose, you think of homing. You don't think of anything else.
Other than her ridiculous stuns, maybe. I'm dead. I mean, okay. Homing, in general, it's good until you find workarounds with it. For example, being up close. A homing character sounds really broken on paper, but when you find workarounds, this character is actually not that amazing, especially since they had to make up with the fact that she has low DPS, since she has basically, in some cases, aimbot. But because it takes time, like, there's a little startup for her, like, homing before it really starts before the projectiles really start before they really start to get going, like Druid Rose, I guess. It just makes it so it sucks up close. It really sucks up close. Like, again, like, characters like Billies and BFN specifically, like, can't miss out. They don't do good up close, because once you miss, there's no homing back. They go too fast for it to actually turn back around and actually kill the enemy. It's just not a thing. And the same thing just happens with Rose, is that if they're up close and even if you do hit them with the homing, it's not guaranteed. because they can always just jump out of the way, and projectiles are not like really fast. Overall, I don't really. It's not as good. You can always take cover. You can react to them. Because she has a lower DPS, you can just kind of like, even while she get hit by like more than 10 shots, you just won't die. There's just so many workarounds. That's why I just consider it just very annoying, and that's it. There's nothing more than annoying. She's only OP if you let her be OP. That's why.
Yeah, that's
the
a
biggest
big thing.
Like, oh, like Godify, like here's another thing. Godify honestly is only good at like shutting down like legendary modes. Beyond that, I don't really consider it that good because again, like I said a second ago.
Telly? I want to promote.
Yeah, sure.
Oh
shoot!
Yep, that's just Godify, and then they just ignore you, basically. Yeah, that's just Godify.
Yeah. The only reason why I was able to... again, even though it sounds counterproductive since I just said... Even though I just killed someone up close, I think... because Rose
That's only because of Godify, though.
Yeah, but I still think that if you use Goat properly, you could still be such an annoyance that Rose can't kill you, even up close. Even while you're in Godify. Because, like... Again, her homing sucks, so you have to take advantage of that. If you take advantage of that fact that she's not that good up close, what you'll end up having is basically a more mobile version of even characters like Imp. You could just move around, and they're forced to do things like time snare you, which is like, honestly a little bit overkill. Like they have to time snare you, which even then you could still goat ram and piss them off if they're low enough, which honestly, if you're able to do some damage before getting goatified, it is actually a good chance that you can actually kill him with Stinky Goat Ram. It's just that I don't really see people using, like, they just use the Stinky Goat Ram without thinking a lot of the time. So I feel like this has become a lot less about, like, it's just more about countering her rather than talking about her.
Yeah, but that's a big thing with Rose because she's good. She's only good if you don't know how to counter her. She's so easy to counter, but when you don't know that, she's OP. But as soon as you get a slight taste of like what works against her and counterplay against her, she just falls significantly.
Yeah. That's why it's like I would never put her any like even like someone like Neck Rose or like Frost Rose, the two best roses by far in my opinion. I would never put them anywhere like in like S tier because I know at the end of the day, yes, they have really annoying, like they're really annoying. They make your teammates like 2 times harder because they do twice the amount of damage. In some cases, they make them like it makes some of the bad characters in this game actually viable and even feel a little broken at times. Even just some abilities just instantly kill you. I still feel like, you know, if you figure out how to get around her homing, around her jinx, around all of that, and just get in her face, she can't win. She physically can't win.
And Rose is just like a test in a way. She just feels like a test.
She does. She's just a test to see like how do you work against it. And once you beat that test, there really isn't like going back to like losing to her. Like maybe you'll start dying to her every now and then, but you will definitely see a difference between like dying a lot because you decide to fight her at mid-range compared to getting in her face with like super brains or anything. And well, yes, you might end up getting like you might end up like getting goatified. It really won't make a huge difference as long as you persist on killing her up close. It won't work for her.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of Rosemary's dropped her because I think the people were starting to figure it out. Yeah. Again, she's really intimidating. Like, you could still use... Compared to other stuns with Time Snare, you could still shoot. And also the freaking stun doesn't even last that long anyways. I feel like a lot of her stuns are just, a lot.
Yeah, but
like,
most of the time, it's just the slow enough is good to just get like this SB. He just kicked right to me, right? I time-saved him, then I got out of his range because he couldn't walk really, because he was so slow. I just got out of his range, then I killed him.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. He probably wasn't at full health, and, yeah. If he was at full
No,
health, he
I was
just do enough
shooting him a
damage.
little bit before, but...
Yeah.
So, like, I didn't have any of my other abilities, so it kind of levels out. If I had my other abilities, I could either finish him off with Enigma, or I could Godify them and just cause them to run away.
I feel like here's a better way of putting it. I think Rose, she's not bad. Like, it's only when you get into, like, actual specific character matchups that counter her completely, like Scuba, Tank Commander, that's when it gets really bad for her. But for the most part, I don't think she's, like, unplayable. I think once you start to realize her weaknesses as well as a Rose player, and you fight against them, like, for example, you did a good job of kind of explaining it, is, like, you try to back up, and you try to maintain that mid-range, or that, like, you know, damage.
Yeah,
I
she
guess you could
has a
say.
lot of tools to do that. That's the thing.
And as long as you keep that, you win. The other player, meanwhile, has to focus on how do I get around that. And once you do that, it becomes more of like a psychological war than like an actual, like, I guess, kind of actual like full-on warfare, I guess you can say. I think that's like how you counter Rose and how Rose counters you. So how do you maintain control between her, and how does she control you?
Corn. I hate Corn. He is I'm just gonna say it. I hate his design. So, he is very similar primary to Soldier again, where it's just his primary is just a general. It's good at... Actually, no. It's decent. It's meh at close range. But I'll elaborate on that. It's just too good at far range, and obviously it's meant to be mid-range, so it's still pretty good. But the thing about Corn is that his hitbox, 1, and 2, the biggest thing is that they gave a character 3 insta-kill abilities. Nobody uses Brighter Barrage, because most people that still play this game are, like, long-term players, so they probably have the one-shot one, Bigger, Better, Butter. So that's a one-shot. Huskomp technically isn't a one-shot, but it still insta-kills you, basically, with its, like, 700 plus DPS. Hello? Balancing? And then you have, what's the other one? Shuck Shot, yeah. It's just ZPG.
But
it's a
worse.
one-shot.
It, in my opinion, worse.
It's worse, because...
Because the spread, and then at long ranges,
yeah.
you can't... It's not reliable, because the projectiles get so far apart from each other, which... Why does that even exist? Why do they have spread? Who thought that was a good idea?
Yeah. And the thing is, the fact that you could just use them all in rapid succession is the thing that just does it for me.
Yeah, it completely ruins the character. I feel like also, again, like, sometimes I feel like I'd be using this character in, like, certain situations, and then my DPS is cut in half, or, like, my Shuck Shot is cut in half, because one of my arms gets cucked by the wall, but the other one doesn't.
Yeah.
I hate that. Like, why did they separate them? Like, I get it, like, I feel like they did that as part of character design to make it so, like, oh, look, he has 2 hands. He's a foot soldier, but the difference is that he shoots out of 2 hands. It just makes him worse in some situations. And I feel like it's so forced. It's not there to actually provide game balancing. It's there because it's part of the character's design, which on paper sounds fine. Gameplay, not so much. And I don't like that. And also,
let's talk about how to actually use the ability. So, Butter Barrage, it's a weird ability. A lot of the time, I find myself just yeeting it on the point and not caring about it, because I don't know what to do.
And then every once in a while, you're like, oh wow, I got 3 kills out of no. Oh, it's just my Bigger, Better, Butter that I just somehow got there. And then, Huskomp and Shuck Shot, I mostly just use them religiously whenever somebody gets too close to me. That's
Yeah.
probably it. And then, oh yeah, the occasional Deadbeard who doesn't know how to play the character using Cannon Rodeo. Yeah, and Big Bolt Blast.
It's weird because even though they're top tier abilities, I don't find myself using them very often.
I don't. I think his primary is just like, it's already decent. It's still not better than Foot Soldier, but it's still decent. It's still usable to some extent.
He has a decent primary. Let's just put it at that.
Yeah. This
You
character
could definitely...
overall-
He's viable. Like, let's say you took abilities away from every character, he would still be viable. Even though Korn, like, really is known for his abilities, same as Rose being known for her homing. Which really still isn't that great because of its, like, horrible DPS.
I mean, she relies on it though, because if she didn't have it, they would be too slow to actually do anything. You can't just dodge them. Anything else to really say about him?
No, it's just having 3 insta-kill abilities. Decent primary, at least they did that right. Its hitbox, man. It's small,
Oh,
it's hard
dude,
to hit.
I hate it. That is another big thing. I hate it. No one likes hitting him. No one.
Like, most hitboxes are, like, more in a square kind of shape. Like, but Corn's, it's very defined. Like, it's... Poor Piplup.
Again, I feel like his hitbox is kind of like a representation how a lot of the character was just created off of character design, but not really for game balancing purposes. Just like how he said just a second ago for like him having 2 hands for shooting, which
Yeah.
Again, his hitbox is so obnoxious. Like, no one likes hitting him. No one. And there'd be like many times I'd be trying to ZPG him, and then the ZPG just swerves under his hips, under his like hands or whatever, and then just narrowly misses him. He's just, and there's no like good like weak spot for him. Some people might say like, oh, his head, but his head is, I don't like hitting it at all. It's just too annoying to hit, personally. I don't like it. Other than that, I mean, if I had to redesign that character, I honestly would go with like something more BFN Cornish, except don't make an obsessively long like end lag to it whenever you land, and I don't know.
Yeah, the thing with Huskop is that when you use it, it's like, it just, sometimes if they're too close, if they're like touching you, then it just, you don't go up. It like doesn't shoot any kernels. It's okay. Torchwood. Torchwood.
He's a ballerina girl or whatever. Ballerina Stump. Grumpy Stumpy. Oh yeah, my favorite.
Okay, that 180 was sick.
Yeah,
Okay,
what is
Torchwood, man. He
why?
almost 300 HP for a tank. What the thing? I would literally spend 30 minutes talking about Torchwood, so I'm gonna try to go quick. Almost 300 HP for just a playable character. A lot more other than Mech. The most base health in the game. So his Blazing Blast, it's a spammable ability that you could use close range. It insta-kills everything.
Just imagine Drake Mech. If it lasts for 3 seconds, and it kills everything. That's basically what it is. It's basically Drake Mech, where it has it lasts for 3 seconds and it insta kills. I think it's better than Drake Mech's primary, and also has a really short cooldown.
I know it is.
Yeah.
Drake Mech's primary actually doesn't have the best DPS in the world.
Unless you macro with it, then yeah. But yeah, it's still though. This ability just why it's like they just wanted to make Huskop, but if it were for a tank, and it would just be like there to pester people who got a little too close to this guy.
Smoldering Madness. Okay, it's too good, man. More movement speed. It's like almost no overheat, right? Like I don't
There
think
is
you
no
can
overheat.
overheat.
There is no evo.
There's no overheat. You just shoot forever.
Fire
You don't
damage.
you don't even get penalized for shooting while you're in it. So you could just shoot while moving at full speed.
And for some reason,
A fire damage also. Like Torchwood doesn't have much spread at all. So just put it fire damage on that. It's basically BBQ.
BBQ, but like actually good, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's if BBQ was good, that's basically what Smoldering Madness is. Just the primary, but the movement speed, and you also look really epic in your skins, which is cool, which I do like.
Here's imagine it like this. Imagine if you played Reg Soldier, right? You play Reg Soldier, but this is basically Red Soldier, but you gain a little bit faster speed. You never have to reload in this. Apparently, like, you do fire damage, like you do the DPS of Foot Soldier. You go faster with no penalty, even when you're shooting, and never had to reload. And there's just no penalty, and you do fight. Like, what is this? Like, what were they thinking with this ability? I don't understand. Like, what were the like? Oh yes, we need to make it so Torchwood can bum rush the enemy team with totally fair and balanced, you know, hyper mode that makes him do fire damage now and shoots even faster than before and is faster than before. Like, it's so much. Like, what are you doing? Remember, he has
Like, tone it down a
275
bit,
health.
man. Like, they literally gave him everything. Gave him the DPS, he gave him the...
Oh, we have to make him a fire character. We have to make him a fire character. That's basically what they're probably doing.
Like,
We have to.
instead of asking what did they do with Torchwood, ask what they didn't do with Torchwood. Like, what does he not have? What does he not do? He's a point defender. He, with, like, his Blazing Bark and just, his Smoldering Madness and just natural high health, being really good at holding down points.
He has a get off me tool that just insta kills enemies instead of just gets them off of you. He has an ability that just makes
Yeah,
everyone
then he
get
could
aggressive.
attack with Smoldering Madness because he moves at, like, hyper speed.
Like, he goes faster than fucking Sunflower, dude. That thing's supposed to run faster than other characters because it's supposed to catch up. This character just runs faster for the sake of, oh, I could chase you down. Why?
Okay, now let's get on to the last component. Leaf Shield.
Oh, for the love of fuck. Why this ability? Why does it exist? Imagine if 275 HP it wasn't enough for you. Apparently, you have never seen frickin' Leaf Shield. This frickin' ability, man. Why? Oh, but you go slower. Oh my gosh, you go slower. Oh no. It's not like I can still tank ZPGs. Oh my gosh.
It's not like that. So how much damage reduction is it? 70%? 60%?
50%. 50%. So so if you're at full health and you use it, you basically, I don't even know
You
if you
have
go slower, but you have
550
five-
HP. Yeah.
500 something, yeah. It's
550 HP.
550. Why? Why? You have 1/4 of the cat's, like the cat and dino from freaking Infinity Time, dude. Why? Why? It makes no sense. And you could, and just to top it all off, you could still use freaking Blazing Blast with it if that wasn't enough for you. Oh, dude, imagine if you were able to use up Smoldering Madness. Oh no. Oh, God.
That
I'm
would
so
be the best character in the game, I swear to God. Better than EP. I'm
And
not
you would be
even
the best
joking when I
target
say
character
that.
in the game. Hands down.
Okay, now let's talk about, with all this positive stuff about him, let's talk about why he's not the best character in the game. Because on paper, he's
Arctic
100%
Trooper. Arctic Trooper. Arctic
Arctic
Trooper.
Trooper. Yeah.
Arctic Trooper.
And two things. One, same thing with TB. Not Arctic Trooper, obviously, but one, you just put a giant target on your back, so people naturally shoot the Torchwood. It's just their mindset, people's natural mindset. They just shoot the Torchwood.
Yeah, like right there.
So
I
you just
got
die
bundled.
to everything. Even with your 550 HP, you just die.
That's why he's
still
better.
die.
Again, he's better in again without sunflowers. He can't regen. He has to rely. Best game modes are game modes that are outside of turf. So if you actually think about playing this character in turf, good luck actually having a KD more than 3 with this guy. You're not going to get it. It's just not. You can't consistently get it. It's just not possible. This guy, even if you play hundreds of hours with this guy, there's no. What the? Somebody, dude, their team got gravity grenaded.
I saw that SB just got gravity grenaded.
And I killed like some of them that were in it too. Oh my, that's so funny. Anyways.
Wait, was that team swap?
No, I think it's a glitch. I think it can be team swap, but I think it's also happened through glitch as well.
Yeah, I've had that happen a few times.
Just this lag.
I've gravity grenaded my teammates before.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, this character. The reason why, again, he's not super duper OP is just that, again, he's a heavyweight character. He has all the heavyweight attributes that are largely
Heavyweights
weaknesses.
in every single game just are. They have to give heavyweights better stats than every other character because they're heavyweights.
But again, that comes at a risk where just you always have this weakness which is way too predominant, and this is why they'll never be good, or never be top tier, or they will be top tier, but they will never be the best in the game because they'll unless you basically make them so strong that weakness is practically not just completely eradicated. Until then, this character will have that issue, and will only win in like 1v1s. Well, unless we're talking about foot soldier, then he'll always lose the 1v1s. Well, wait, he has leaf shield actually.
Arctic Trooper specifically.
Yeah, against Arctic Trooper still beats him, even with leaf shield, I would say, because you could still just freeze him. You could still do that damage.
Freeze, yeah. Freeze, does it take away leaf shield?
No, no it doesn't. But you still do like freaking half of HP, but it's still like, you know, I do 150 damage. That's still over half.
Like
his health.
ZBG does 300 damage, right? It still takes like over half your HP even with leaf shield.
Yeah. Overall, like this character is just. It's either that you'll either do really good with this guy, like I'm sort of doing right now, or sometimes you just struggle, and then people focus you, and then you die, and also you never are able to regen.
Yeah, the regen also affects Torchwood a lot, but sunflowers do seem to just love you when you play Torchwood for some reason.
That is actually pretty odd. I actually do get healed quite a bit with them. I don't know, I guess people are like, oh wow, free heals. Let's quickly wrap this up though. So, I feel like there are some characters in this game that are overall well balanced, like Cactus.
Cactus.
I was supposed to say fucking Deadbeard.
For the most part, most characters in this game, like Chomper, Torchwood, Peashooter, are just. They're just horrible. They're just horrible. It's just
horribly designed. Design-wise, they're horrible. Not in game.
So, like, on average, I'd probably give the game, like, in terms of how well it is, how well it's done, like a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I would probably say the same.
2 stars.
Because there's just like there's very few classes that actually make me look at the characters like, yeah, that actually makes sense. Yeah, Chomper's a stealth character. Yeah, there's no. It's really, actually, I actually have to think about which one.
Train.
It's really hard to find characters that fit that role. But yeah, this game, overall, I mean, design-wise, it could be better. Always, it could be better, but it should have been way better, in my opinion, especially for the sequel. But again, I mean, this is going to be a running theme for PopCap, in my opinion. They just don't get things right most of the time. We'll see more of that.
Well, I'm obviously gonna love this game, so even with its horrible balancing,
yeah,
and just like abundance of bugs and glitches, I'm always gonna love this game, man.
Yeah. I agree. Same. At the end of the day, you know, it doesn't. It's most of the character designs. Like, yeah, they make me like have a headache over it, but again, it's nothing to really get too up into. But yeah. I think that's a good way to end it. I think that's a good way to end it.